Chapter 90 Dad's Waste. Of course you never found one, you Ray, not the boss. Chen Yuan shot him acid-whiz glance. Enough with the nonsense. You should be thinking about your homework tonight instead. He just had to bring up the one thing he didn't want to talk about. Chen Donglai's good mood vanished instantly. Back at Xingfu Li residential quarter, Chen Yuan sent Luo Shang home. Quit standing around, hurry home and do your homework, he told Chen Donglai, grabbing the cooked food he'd bought on the way and heading inside. Chen Donglai mumbled an okay, slung his heavy school bag over his shoulder, and hurried to follow. Once they got home, Chen Donglai tossed his school bag aside, then flopped onto the sofa, sprawling out with his arms and legs spread wide. That's better. Chen Yuan set the cooked food on the table and read at him. You Ray, so lazy, Kenti. You help out with some housework for once? You're not a kid anymore. Hurry over here and give me a hand. Chen Donglai groaned. Studying's tiring, I need a break first. Chen Yuan tore into the roast chicken. Cut the excuses. Get over here now. Can't you wait a minute? Are you deaf or mute? Chen Donglai pretended not to hear, refusing to move. But as soon as Chen Yuan finished preparing the food, he perked up, instantly jumped to his feet, and strode over to the table. Nice. I'll have a drumstick first. He picked one up and started gnawing. Chen Yuan watched, sighing inwardly. This kid. What did you say? Chen Donglai asked, his mouth full. Nothing. Evenfod Cantaquetti. Chen Yuan said, keeping a straight face. Not long after dinner, teacher's song arrived. Once the two went into the study, Chen Yuan stretched out on the sofa and pulled out his phone. He checked his live stream. Around 300,000 viewers were watching, and his follower count had surpassed 2.3 million. He clicked into the second live stream. Wang Mantong was still selling things, but instead of small trinkets, she was now selling fruit, probably because she'd made some money lately. Miss Urasoprity, just like Kethispol, a customer said. Wang Mantong touched her cheek. Really? The customer's boyfriend glanced at her. Are your apples sweet? Finding it boring, Chen Yuan switched to the third live stream. Li Zhu was actually tutoring her celebrity mom, Zhang Qian, with homework. Suppose you get a new job, and your boss lets you choose between two salary plans. Annual salary, 4,000 yuan the first year, with an 800 yuan raise every year after. B. Semi-annual salary, 2,000 yuans for the first half year, with a 200 yuan raise every half year after. Which one would you choose and why? Zhang Qian thought for a second. Definitely A. An 800 yuan raise every year is way better than a 400 yuan raise. The live stream chat exploded. I'd kusib. Don't task, we just trust the math. Yeah, is obvious. Even a kid would know that. You Ray, all too naive. Do you really think math problems are that easy? Miss Zhang is right, but this question is unrealistic. 4,000 yuan isn't even enough to buy food. I'm a citizen named Li Si. I spent 35,000 yuans on a phone. 4,000 yuans. Laughable. Who'd take this job? Not me, that's for sure. Chen Yuan couldn't help but laugh at the comments. Then Li Zuer started explaining the problem in detail, and Chen Yuan suddenly had an epiphany. Oh, so that's how it works. This little girl's actually pretty smart. Up there, he watched the streams for a while, then put on a movie, and before he knew it, he drifted off to sleep. At TPM, Chen Donglai and Teacher Song walked out of the study. Teacher Song, take care, Chen Donglai said. Teacher Song nodded. Okay, the kid's asleep, she whispered, nodding toward Chen Yuan. Chen Donglai looked over and smiled. Yeah, I won't see you out then. He walked quietly over to Chen Yuan, staring at his peaceful face and listening to his steady breathing. Chen Donglai shook his head. With Asmal, you little rascal fell asleep justic. Muttering softly, he bent down, wrapped his arms around Chen Yuan, and tried to carry him to his room just like he used to do when Chen Yuan was little. It should have been a warm, tender moment. Unfortunately, he almost twisted his waist. Ouch! My old waist! Chen Yuan couldn't hold back anymore. He burst out laughing. Chen Donglai glared at him, clutching his waist. You little brat, you're awake-a-thulziweeth. Of course I was. How could I leap through you manhandling me like that? Chen Yuan sat up, forcing down his laughter, and patted Chen Donglai's waist. You okay? Did you twist it? Chen Donglai grunted and pushed his hand away. Go to bed. Chen Yuan nodded and walked toward his room. At the door, he glanced back. Chen Donglai was still sitting rigidly on the sofa, his face expressionless, back in his room. Chen Yuan deliberately left the door slightly ajar. He lay down and peeked through the crack at Chen Donglai in the living room. As soon as Chen Yuan was out of sight, Chen Donglai stood up, still clutching his waist. Almost lost my dignity as a dad, he muttered, rubbing his back. I'm not even 40 yet, and I can tarry a 100-something pound kid. Am I getting old? He paused. No way, I've been working out every day for half a year, and I still start my mornings strong. After rubbing for a while, the pain seemed to ease. Chen Donglai hobbled into the study, still holding his waist. Even after he closed the door, Chen Yuan could hear him muttering, so much homework, when will it end? Chen Yuan opened his door and went back to the living room. To be Hone Street, even though his dad was unreliable sometimes, he'd always loved Chen Yuan deeply. If Chen Yuan's little joke had actually made him hurt his waist, that would be terrible. He pushed open the study door. Chen Donglai was already sitting at the desk, working on his unfinished homework. Huh? I thought you went to bed. Why are you back? Chen Yuan held up a bottle of safflower oil, a traditional Chinese medicine used for muscle aches. I was worried you'd hurt yourself. Old man, he walked over to Chen Donglai. Lift up your shirt, I'll rub some medicine on you. Chen Donglai squirmed. No needed s. Nothing serious. Just leave the oil here, and I'll do it myself later. Chen Yuan pushed his back gently. Quit stalling. Hurry up, you still have homework to finish. Chen Donglai's brief moment of warmth vanished instantly. You little brat, so you just worried I wouldn't finish my homework, and they'll Call a parent-teacher conference tomorrow? If my waist wasn't hurting, I'd take out my secret weapon, likely a disciplinary tool like a belt, and teach you who stay boss around here. Though he thought that, he obediently lifted his shirt. Chen Yuan spread the safflower oil evenly over his back and massaged it for a few minutes. Finally, he patted Chen Donglai's back. Okay, get back to your homework. In the live stream chat, God lies hurt, I'm so sad. The literary Werlastist dared to curse God lie again, and you're dead. Lie Z's spirit will never die. YYDS eternal God. He just twisted his waist, why are you all why? Ling like it's the end of the world? That moment earlier was so sweet. Though, Chapter 91 Li Zuer is going to be a bar singer. The next morning, Chen Yuan still got up at 6 a.m. He put on his sportswear, grabbed a towel, and headed out. It was a cloudy day, and there were slightly fewer people out exercising than usual. Chen Yuan jogged all the way to the park and got back at 7:30 a.m. Chen Donglai had gotten up earlier. That day, when Chen Yuan returned, he was already sitting at the table eating breakfast. After taking a sip of fresh milk, Chen Donglai glanced at Chen Yuan. Sit down and eat. After that, take me to school. Chen Yuan sat down next to him. Dream on. Take the bus. Or hail a taxi. I didn't thave time to drive you every day, my good son. You really care about your dad. If I wasn't in a hurry, I'd teach you Allison about respect. Chen Dong Lai fed a few more bites into his mouth, shot Chen Yuan a fierce glare, grabbed his school bag, and stormed out of the house. Once Chen Donglai was gone, Chen Yuan stared at the empty doorway and muttered, "Dare to glare at me? I'll just buy the school someday. Let us see if you dare glare at me then." Chen Yuan took the stairs up to the second floor, where Dong Wanyi was already waiting for him. "Miss Dong, how's the mobile game department coming along?" Dong Wanyi replied, "It's almost ready. We're just waiting for your order to officially launch operations." "Good. Come to my office later. I'll give you the promotion data for our new game." Dong Wanyi nodded and followed Chen Yuan to his office on the 4th floor. Chen Yuan took out the promotion data for Honor of Kings. It included an introduction to the core of competitive games and data on some representative heroes. Take this material back and study it carefully. Give me a sample promotion plan tomorrow. Dong Wanyi glanced curiously at the data on the desk. Is this the thing the boss claims will change the world pattern? A brand new competitive mobile game. To be honest, she was extremely curious. What kind of game could make the boss make such a bold claim? She reached out wanting to open the file. Chen Yuan pushed her hand away. "Read it in your own office. Not here. I didn't want people saying I'm peeking at your looks." Dong Wanyi laughed at his words. She looked Chen Yuan up and down, then glanced at the drone hovering above. "Do people really say you're peeking at my looks?" Chen Yuan shrugged and blinked his innocent eyes. "Yeah, they say you have a hot figure and a dominant older sister vibe. But honestly, I have no idea what they're talking about." Dong Wanyi rolled her eyes playfully. You have no idea? Pfft. She picked up the material. I'll head out now. After watching her leave, Chen Yuan returned to his seat. The launch plan for Honor of Kings was already finalized. It could be launched in 3 or 4 days at the earliest, but Chen Yuan wanted to hold a beta test first, then officially launch it. This way, the game would generate buzz before it even went live, and once it officially launched, its popularity would spread quickly, helping to expand its influence and make the financial report look impressive. Chen Yuan tapped the desk, then called Dong Jiangguo. Lao Dong, come to my office. A moment later, Dong Jiangguo hurried in. Chen Yuan spun his office chair slightly, propped his legs up, and said, Lao Dong, how's the mobile version of PUBG going? Under your wise leadership, the team is full of enthusiasm. They're working non-stop, even pulling all-nighters. Chen Yuan nodded. You don't need to supervise them 24/7. Hand over the progress tracking to the supervisor. I have a new task for you. Just say the word, Dong Jiangguo replied, leaning in attentively. Hire a new team. I want to develop the overseas version of Honor of Kings. Dong Jiangguo looked at Chen Yuan in surprise. Normally, game companies only consider developing overseas or international versions after a game became a hit. Why was his boss planning an international version before the new game was even released? Did he really think this game would be a huge success, even a blockbuster? Noticing Dong Jiangguo's silence, Chen Yuan smiled. I am 100% sure this game will become a signature mobile game for Yuan Shen Network once it's launched. We need to plan ahead. If we wait until it's a hit to release the international version, someone else will probably beat us to it. After all, in Chen Yuan's original world, Honor of Kings had learned this lesson the hard way. Back then, they'd never imagined the game would become so popular. By the time it was a massive hit, they realized pirated versions were already running rampant overseas, even making nearly as much money as the official version. To avoid repeating that mistake, Chen Yuan needed to prepare the overseas version of Honor of Kings in advance. Of course, different regions had different cultures and customs, which meant the game would need to be completely remodeled. Even the voice actors would have to be replaced. Everything except the core data would need to change, and that required a lot of people. Dong Jiangguo only froze for a few seconds before regaining his composure. Chairman Chen, you're so far-sighted. While the rest of us are still celebrating our current achievements, you're already planning your next strategic move on a global scale. I'm truly in awe. Chen Yuan pressed his lips together. He dared so many flatteries that he was practically immune now. Lao Dong, this matter is also urgent. No delays. You can go now. Dong Jiangguo took the copied data and left. Chen Yuan had finished handling the company's affairs for the day. Honor of Kings still needed time to launch at least a few more days. For now, all he had to do was relax. But relaxing in the office was boring. After thinking for a while, he still couldn't come up with a good place to go. He opened his live stream app casually. In the second live stream, Wang Mantong was still selling fruit at her stall. Boring. So Chen Yuan switched to the third live stream. To his surprise, Li Zuer was walking down the street with a guitar slung over her shoulder, talking to the drone as she went. I found Ajib singing at a bar. I am going for an audition today. If I get it, I'll finally have stability, and I can buy my mom some nice clothes too. In the live stream chat, the creepy uncles, affectionate term for male fans, started spamming comments. Zuer, just go for it. Uncle will be at that bar in a minute. Our Zuer is pretty and sings well. They'll definitely hire you. I get to hear Sister Zuer sing again. So excited, go get sister. Are there elementary school kids here? Hurry up and leave. Little ones, these guys aren't all good people. Zuer, don't worry. I Zhang San the outlaw will be at the bar to cheer you on. Zhang San the outlaw? Is this guy still around? Chapter 92 Duo Live Music Bar. Chen Yuan watched the live stream with Asmal. Li Zuer chatted with the drone as she walked, occasionally pulling out her cute cartoon the med phone to check something. Soon, she arrived at the bar. The drone's camera immediately focused on the sign, Duo Live Music Bar. Li Zuer's face lit up when she found the place. She spoke to the drone. We're here. Now I'll go in for the audition. She pushed open the door and stepped inside. The bar was surprisingly large, and its decor made it clear this was on a quiet, elegant lounge. In the center stood a stage that looked like it belonged in a small concert hall, and the lighting was dim visually. The space seemed more suited for vibes like pole dancing. Muttering to himself that he didn't actually know anything about bars, as Li Zuer walked in, her big, curious eyes scanned the room. This was her first time in a bar. She'd always been both curious and wary of these legendary places. If it weren't for the drone following her, she'd never have dared to walk into such a spot alone. Since the bar wasn't officially open yet, only a few cleaners were working in the hall. One of them noticed Li Zuer, glanced at her a few times, and then at the large guitar slung over her shoulder. Little girl, what are you here for? Li Zuer replied, I have an appointment with the manager here for an audition. The cleaner aunt let out an "oh" and pointed toward a corridor. The manager's office is the second door at the end. There's a sign on it. I'll see it when you get there. Li Zuer thanked her, then carried her guitar toward the corridor. At the end, the second door had manager's office written on it. She paused in front of it, straightened her clothes, took a deep breath to calm her nerves, and knocked. A man's voice came from inside. Come in. Li Zuer pushed the door open. The office decor was simple. A desk faced the door, and behind it sat a middle-aged man in his 40s, wearing glasses and looking rather refined. Li Zuer guessed this must be Manager Fang. When Manager Fang saw her, he stood up. You must be Li Zuer. I saw you on that CCTV reality show, he said, glancing at the drone hovering nearby. Li Zuer gave a sweet smile, bowed slightly, and said, Hello, Manager Fang. Manager Fang hurried to respond. No need to be so formal, sit down. Let's talk. Li Zuer gently set her guitar down and took a seat. Manager Fang said from the show, I thought you only played the piano. I didn't expect you to play the guitar too. Li Zuer smiled. I've loved music since I was little. I learned both piano and guitar, but I still like the piano more. Manager Fang chuckled. To be honest, I don't have much doubt about your musical talent, but since you Ray here, we still need to go through the proper process. Li Zuer nodded. I understand. Should I play a song on the guitar now? Manager Fang gestured for her to go ahead. Li Zuer stood up immediately, hugged her guitar, and stepped back a few paces. Then she began to play and sing her signature song, You Shui Lion Love of Swimming Water. She was incredibly talented. She quickly got into the zone, and all her earlier nervousness melted away. Her clear, beautiful voice paired perfectly with her skill. Full guitar playing. Manager Fang nodded repeated, lie as he listened. When she finished, he immediately broke into applause. Wonderful! Yurei hired to perform here. How does 100 yuans per song sound? A song only lasted a few minutes, so this rate was actually quite good at least. That's what it seemed without considering Li Zuer's minor celebrity status. Manager Fang had his own calculations. If he could hire a little star for just 100 yuans a song, even the bar owner would praise him. Of course, if Li Zuer had asked for more, he would have been willing to raise the price. But Li Zuer had little real-world experience. She had no idea she could negotiate for more when she heard 100 yuan per song. She was overjoyed. 100 yuan per song. Even if I only sing 8 or 10 songs a day, that's a lot of money. In 3 or 5 days, I'll have no trouble buying nice clothes for Mom. That's great, she said eagerly. Chen Yuan put down his phone. Li Zuer really lacks social experience. If it were me, I would be asked for 8,000 yuan right off the bat. You're still too naive in the head. He shook his head. A knock on the door interrupted his thoughts. It's time for lunch. Chen Yuan stood up and stretched. Already noon? Being a boss meant keeping busy sort of, while his employees were still working hard in the afternoon. Chen Yuan was taking a nap in his inner office. He slept until 4 p.m., then grabbed for his phone. With his eyes still closed, checked the time, and sat up to take a sip of cold tea. Sigh. Another boring day. He opened the live stream app out of boredom, thanks to the bar performance gig. The third live stream now had 1 million viewers. Li Zuer was in the bar's break room, hugging her guitar and waiting. Chen Yuan closed the stream and thought, for a moment, since I embered anyway, why not go to the bar and cheer Li Zuer on? He thought this was a great idea. I basically just go between home and work every day sometimes. The school, the viewers even call me Homebuddy Yuan now. Going out for a walk would help me shake that label and add a little fun to my dull life. Chen Yuan stood up, put on the suit hanging from the coat rack, and headed downstairs. When he reached the 3rd floor, he ran into Yu Yu, who was carrying a stack of documents. "Little Chairman Chen, where are you off to? I have a dozen plan here. Could you take a look at it?" Seeing the sweat beading on Yu Yu's forehead, Chen Yuan felt a twinge of sympathy. What a hard-working employee. Well, I'm merely busy right now. Let's talk about the art design plan tomorrow. Ihavi to go. Yu Yu watched Chen Yuan quickly press the elevator button and assumed he really was swamped. If the boss is this busy, I, as a senior employee, need to work even harder. She nodded. Don't overwork yourself. Take time to go out and get some exercise once in a while. With that, she carried the documents and left. Chen Yuan stared at her retreating figure. Yuri's absolutely Yuri admined. When the elevator arrived, he stepped inside. Yu Yu is such a good employee. Luo Shang hurried over and opened the car door. Boss. Chen Yuan thought, my good driver. You change how you address me every day. Luo Shang. Can we settle on one way to call me? Every time you speak, I have to pause and make sure you Ray talking to me. Got it, leader. I'll remember that.